Hello Internet. Today we're going to be doing a honest, in-depth review of the Eunorau Flash. I bought this bike brand new, May 9th of 2024, and it was brand new when I bought it, had 0 miles on it, and I'm not paid or sponsored by this company or anything. This is just an in-depth, honest review. I'm not going to pump up any numbers or any bullshit. It's going to be full-out honesty. So we'll go over everything, and we'll show you all of the things it has and all the things that I put on it. There's some things you might see here now, and we'll go over everything. So let's start with this here. Let's go over this. So again, I bought the bike May 9th, and I bought it brand new. It had 0.3 miles on it. Still remember it. It's in kilometers now. We're gonna put that in freedom units for you slowpokes. Freedom units. Setup. I think it's on setup. Ah, yeah, there it is. Set unit and imperial tard. Yeah. Sorry, but kilometers are superior. If anybody disagrees, well, you can dislike the video. Okay, so we got 1,977 freedom miles. Oh, I keep calling freedom miles. So that's how much I put on 1977. It's a lot of fucking miles when you think about it. So, bike has been great. All those miles, the only thing I had, unfortunately, was a back tire pop, and that was because I was kind of on this sort of trail, you know, long trail, and a thorn got in and it popped a tire. A pretty long thorn, is about this big of a thorn, you know, these tires. Speaking of the tires, they are CST Scout in e-moped style, and I'm sidetracking for no reason, so let's focus on this top part. We have a functioning brake light on this here vehicle. Hopefully you can see that, because I can't see shit. And it functions like a brake light when you hit the brakes. And it's got also daytime running light too. Oh, headlight, not daytime. You hold up the plus button for about 3 seconds, and you got this nice bright headlight. It doesn't look too bright because it's daytime, but trust me, that light shines. So I love the headlight on this thing. It's very, very helpful. It's not a cheap Chinese one. Well, the bike is Chinese, but some of those cheap ones are terrible. We got an aftermarket horn that I bought and an aftermarket turn signal. We'll go over that right now. So right here, right where my thumb is, nice and convenient. Nice and loud horn. I think it's about 130 decibels. You got a multi-function too. You click that button and you get a little chirp. I prefer this one because it sounds more like a horn. And if you do this, it sounds like a bird chirping. It just sounds like the environment. No one's going to hear that unless they're superior. Up next, we got functioning turn signal that I bought. It's a wireless one. I bought it on Amazon for about 15 bucks. And I put it on upside down because I'm a dumbass. It's supposed to be the other way. So left is right, right is left. So let's put on the right turn signal. Beeping noise. There's a reason it's 15 bucks. It's, you know, it wobbles down and falls over. So it does that, and turn it off. And you can also have it just stay on, you know, kind of like a regular backlight when you're driving. That's the purpose of these, but I'll get into these a little later. So let's go ahead and turn that off. Okay. The gearing is a little funky on this bike. It's kind of like a manual transmission. And basically you kind of want to start it out of at least first or third. It's got an 8-speed, and the front doesn't have any speeds. It's a single speed on this one, as you can see, and the back one has the other 8 speeds. And I like to start it out of third because the bike's a little heavy. You know, the bike's around 70 pounds, something like that, along with all my stuff back here. Along with me being 170 pounds, so that's put it right there at about 280 pounds with everything combined. So, you know, I'm doing full throttle on the bike. And basically, when you hit the throttle's on this side, by the way. I know some people would cringe at this, and I did at first. I cringed at the throttle being on the left side and have it being like a lever. But I shortly got used to it, and I actually like it better on this side, because I feel like when you're twisting on this side, and you're holding it, you kind of got to multi-function a lot to get the gears up and down, you know. So this kind of lets your right hand be free, and you can choose gears freely while you're messing with the throttle. So it's actually kind of like in the perfect spot. You don't got to mess with the throttle. That considering it being an actual gear dependent motor. Now if it's an independent motor, then I don't care where the throttle is because I don't have to look at gearing. But since it's a gear dependent motor and it's a mid motor, then you have to put it in gears. If you're in third gear, you're limited to a certain speed up until you put it in the next gear, and so forth. And you can go faster and faster the higher the gears you go into. So it's a gear dependent motor, that's what I call it. And you know, obviously when you're driving, and you gotta switch the gear like that. And I can't really do it with one hand, but you get what I mean. You gotta upshift and it has to go, and I kind of use this as like an RPM meter. Once the little gray line gets right about that little electric symbol there, then I, you know, upshift. Unless I really want to take it slow, then I just keep it in 5th gear. Batteries on this bike, I actually got 2 batteries when I bought it, and I paid about $3,600 for the bike. That's because I had that battery down here, that's a battery, and this battery, big guy up here. And afterwards, about a week later, I bought this battery. So all in all, I spent about $4,400 on this bike in total. And the range is it's pretty great. The website is gonna lie to you, and they're full of shit completely, because what they did was they got a 90-pound Asian guy to ride the bike. And the reality is, if you're full throttle, you're not, listen, let's face it, you're not gonna buy an e-bike to pedal. No one. Especially something this heavy and this heavy duty. You're not fucking pedaling this bike. You're using the throttle. End of discussion. If you're pedaling this, then holy shit, you're Superman. You know, this thing's heavy. It's heavy duty. Nice, you know, like this is fucking metal. This isn't plastic. So this bike gets about 50 miles range based on my driving habits every time. 50 miles. And that's full throttle only. Zero pedaling. I'm talking zero pedaling. I don't use the pedals at all. And the bike gets 50 miles. That's pretty impressive for throttle only. Now, if you're pedaling it, you could get 70, but forget that 100 miles. That's all they're lying. They do not get that much unless you're pedaling only. You could probably get that much if you're pedaling the crap out of it, but you're not getting that with full throttle. You can forget about that. So if that's just a marketing scheme, they're lying to you on that. This basket actually came with the bike. This is not aftermarket, and it connects to the bike right here on the end. And this thing's pretty useful. At first I thought it looked kind of stupid and I took it off, and then I realized, I'm like, well, I can actually put my backpack in here, because I mean, why wouldn't I? You know, it makes sense. So I put the basket back on. It looks kind of hippie-ish, you know, but it's cool, you know. It's that you can hold your stuff in here. I got some stuff, I got some tools, I got a coat in there in case it gets cold, and a pair of pants in case I'm riding out. Sometimes in the sun, you know, in the fall, it's September, sometimes the nights get cold, and I stop the bike and I put on my pair of sweatpants and my sweater, and then I keep riding, and it's very useful. So I mean, that's your personal preference. If you buy the bike and you want it, more power to you. You know, you can put the basket on, you can take it off, you can do whatever the hell you want. I'm sure you noticed there's no front fender on the bike, and that's because it actually fell off, and I forgot to actually mention that. It was such a trivial thing that I forgot about it, and I just remembered it because of the screw here. The fender did unfortunately fall off on the front. That's the one little cheap Asian piece that fell off. And that's about that. That's the only issue I've actually had with the bike, like something to fall off. But everything else is good. I make sure to maintain it. I make sure to tighten things and do like a post-trip inspection after I get back. I want to make sure everything's good to go on it. It's a little roughed up and dusty because I ride it a lot and I don't wash it. But I make sure to keep it in check. Because this is a death machine. Like if something fails on this and it's an important piece of hardware, you're gonna regret that you didn't check it. So all e-bikers, please check your bikes. We got front suspension and we have the luxurious rear suspension. Yeah, that comes at a price with these bikes. That's like heated seats in the 90s, man. So it actually does make a bit of a difference. I like the rear suspension. It makes it a softer ride, nice and plush, especially if you're off-roading like me and you like to take it out on the trails like this. And then you're gonna want some rear suspension. Hardtails are nice too. Just lift their butt up for the bumps. And they got all sorts of versions of these bikes. You can get like a single battery, a double battery, triple battery, which is what I got. I went full out. And the suspension, of course, you can get a hardtail, and it's not gonna ride as smooth, but you'll probably pay less, obviously, and it'll be fine. I mean, Who cares? Onto these lights, like I said, these are just aftermarket ones I got off Amazon. These, you know, they do their, oh, looks like this one died. I gotta charge it when I get back. So they're not hardwired. But what I do is I actually get these top ones flashing, and then this one is just stationary. Well, the bottom too. So when someone's behind me, they're seeing that. And of course this one's glowing, but I turned that off just now. And it's safer, you know, it looks real nice, and people definitely notice you, and you want to be noticed on something like this. You don't want to just be in the dark. So I recommend it, but what you spend your money on is up to you. The seat is a banana seat. I like to call these fucking things banana seats. You can fit 2 people on it. Just, I think this thing's max weight rating is about 400 pounds, so if you got 2 fat dudes on it, you're bending that fucking frame, man. Also, this is just complete bullshit. Just when I ride past the police, I make sure to slow down, you know, and you know, when the Karens, they see it and they're, oh, it's only 20 miles an hour. So I had a Karen yell at me once. I almost had a pepper spray him. So long story, won't get into that. Overall, the bike is very, very nice. And please don't believe the range that they say on their website. You really got to get a guy like me who has an honest, low quality video, who's just walking around the bike. And a guy like me is going to tell you it is a good bike. Overall, I do like it. I don't have too many issues with it at all. I'm not like a perfectionist with things, so I don't really care about a few hiccups here and there and something that I do or don't have. It's got 3 batteries and it gets me 50 miles, and I plan on buying 3 more batteries, which will set me back about another $1,800 at least, plus a charger. So I'm actually spending $2 more grand on batteries. And obviously I'm going to stick them back here. I'm probably going to take the backpack out, or I might put the backpack on top. Got to lay some wood maybe in here and then lay the batteries down, make sure they don't get wet. I don't really want to put them inside the backpack, because what that's going to mean is when I'm done with these batteries, when they're juiced, I have to put them back in the backpack. And you know the nightmare with these, if they don't get air, then they're burning. You know, these things, they got to be out in fresh air so that they can cool down. To the wheel fans, we got the brake discs. They're pretty decent discs. I don't really know what they're called exactly, but they're phenomenal at braking. You really stop on this thing. The brakes are perfect. For those guys who really want to see the small details, we'll show you around. We'll get you some details in the back here too. The chain and all that stuff. You want to see it, you want to pause the video and take a look at it. They have these optional footrests. You want to ride it like a motorcycle, but personally I think you look like a complete dweeb riding it like that. It just looks stupid considering there's pedals. So, you know, there's really no point for those. I mean, if anything, you're getting more drag. But one of the manufacturer faults, I like to call it, is that they designed this to where I think you have to have this pedal here to have the kickstand in. So if you wanted to take it out, it just stick out like a sore thumb, and it looks stupid without the other one there. So I kept it there for aesthetic reasons, and it's not really I don't really care, to be honest. I doubt it really does much to the range, but I mean, hell, I got all this stuff on here, and this is probably causing more drag than anything, along with me myself being 6'4". I mean, look at my shadow. I'm fucking tall and skinny. So, you know, they got the decoration right here. I like that personally, that little lightning symbol, you know, the flash. So yeah, no issues on the bike. You know, right now we got 86%, and I love it, honestly. Like, I wish I could do more range. I wish I could do like 80 miles, but I went far on this thing, man. I really did, and I took it slow speed. Obviously, the speed, if you're higher speed, you're gonna take up more range. But if you're, you know, going slow and easy and you're just kind of enjoying your day, you know, going like 22 miles an hour, then you're gonna, you know, get some more range out of it and stuff. So if there's any questions, concerns, comments you may have, please feel free to comment below. The third battery is compatible right here. I forgot to mention that too. You just plug it in there. There's no need to like do any kind of wiring. You just have to put that rail on and then plug it in. It takes like 2 seconds. So I'm just trying to think what else I could go over on this bike before I end the video. Like I said, I know the headlight doesn't look like much to write home about. Oh, it just shut off. Yeah, the bike shut off. Didn't run out of battery. It just does that. Hang on. Eunorau. It's a cool little start screen. And you gotta turn the headlight on. This thing's messing with me. There we go. So I know it doesn't look like much to write home about, but it really is a bright headlight. It really illuminates your way. I mean, you could also put some aftermarket lights. Like I put the horn in this, so I don't really have much room for a light. But if you really like your light, if you really want to light up the way, man, you can put 2 lights right here if you want and make yourself look like a fucking Jeep Wrangler tearing on the bike trail. So I really do like to skip important details for some reason. I don't know why I like doing that. But the bike's top speed, see, this is what I mean by what they lie about. They lie about the bike being top speed 50 miles an hour. Now, I'm sure you can achieve that by pedaling the shit out of it down a hill. But I have pedaled like crazy with this bike. And I've went downhill with wind assist, and I got the bike up to 45 miles an hour only. And it claims to do 50 top speed. And if I'm not doing pedaling with wind assist, this thing really has a hard time getting up to about 37 miles an hour. It'll do 35, but push it past that point and it really struggles getting past 35. So although it looks mighty and beefy and it looks really aggressive, it's kind of a slow poke, and it's not going to do 40 miles an hour unless you're going down a hill, pedaling it, and the wind is pushing at your back. Forget it if you're going against the wind and on a flat surface, you're probably barely going to hit 35. Barely. On top of the fact that this thing is more of a manual, and by the time you get up to that speed, 6th, 7th gear, it's really going to give you a hard time with full throttle. Now, if you're a pedaler, maybe you'll have better luck, but I am not pedaling this thing by any means. I'm going to let it do its thing until it gets to a speed. And that's just how I ride it personally. Other people may vary, but that's just me. So I think I'm going to wrap up the video here. I think I'm going to just call it a day. It's already been 17 minutes, and I think you're getting bored by now. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please do put them in the bottom, and we'll look at comments, and we can go over some more things on the bike. I went over range. I went over how much I went. There's no problems with the bike. I have a horn. I have a turn signal. I have some lights. The basket comes with it. All that good stuff. It has rear suspension, front suspension. You can get 3 batteries, and you know, it's got the CST Scout moped, e-moped tires. It's got the disc brakes. You know, it's got a nice beefy metal frame. It's got the banana seat. You know, and you got these nice handlebars that they twist a little bit after some time, but they're really nice and comfortable. They're not really like those cheap ones. I like it too. The brakes are great. It stops on a dime. You know, if you really got to hit an emergency stop, God forbid, it will stop you. And do not be shy. Post comments. And I know there's a million types of e-bikes out there, and I know that there's a lot more with a lot better price, cheaper, more expensive, depends on your price range, but I love this bike. It's been nothing but good to me. So hope you guys find this video very useful. I'm not some sponsored dickhead who's gonna sit here and lie to your face. I'm gonna tell you honestly, the bike gets 50 miles full throttle with 3 batteries. Keep that in mind, 3 batteries. With 3 batteries, you're going to get 50 miles, and headwind is going to give you some trouble, but it goes, and I love it. Tires are great. They're nice street tires. They're not really for off-road tires, but, you know, you can do it. You can get away with it. It's fine. So, thank you so much for viewing the video if you did. I hope you watched the whole video, and I hope I was useful, and I hope I helped you with choosing the bike that you want. Have a great day, and look out for some more videos, because I will post random stuff like this. Have a good one.